Got to do it myself because he's not here. What am I going to say? Yes. Hi everybody and welcome back to How Hard Can It Be? Now, if you're new to this channel, I'm Phil Murphy and behind me is Nauticus 27 foot cruiser boat. Hopefully going to be on the canal and hopefully going to be done by, well, summer? Or shall I say spring? I'll say spring and it pressures me to get on with it. So, today's episode is going to be a bit similar to the last one, and that is continuing on the interior of the boat and getting those large side sections of ply, which you can see that's had one coat of Danish oil, and I'm going to slip that through the window and start getting it on the side of the boat. So, where's my string? Today's most important tool is my string. And I shall show you what I'm going to do with it right now. Should we get on board? I think so. Right, so welcome back. We're back on board. Now, last night, early hours of the morning, I thought, how am I going to get those oak panels on there and then nail gun them in place when I can't see the battens? So, came up with an idea. I thought, I know what I could do. I'll put some blue tape on the outside and I'll put a little black marker that shows the centre of each of these battens. Now, I'm hoping that I got all these straight because I didn't have the foresight to think ahead that far on how I'm going to get them on. I just went straight in with it. Like that, 80% sure they're fairly straight. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that board up against here because I've marked that side and I've marked this side. I'm going to push it against it. I'm going to put 3 nails in. I'm going to tie some string, as you saw at the beginning of this episode. And I'm going to take a string line across the top. I'm going to put the nails in there, take the string off, put it on the bottom, in the middle, do the same there, and then finally on the bottom, do the same there. Fingers crossed that will work. So we'll get on with it. First of all, I'm just going to put a row of pins up where you won't be able to see them, and then once I've got that into place, I'll be able to then put a string line into the centre section. So for starters, I shall do this. Next step. Is to put a nail on an angle, or shall I say I'll just put the nail in first. Bend it towards like so. Obviously I can't, can I put a pin in that side? Maybe I can. I hope this works because I'm going to be right prat if I don't. I look a prat anyway with this clobber that I've got on. It's freezing here. I can get a shadow line even better. Right, well, let's see if this thing works. So there's the one I've put in. What I've done also is, as a double check, is I've put some tape around a piece of wood, measured the other side against it. Gives me a depth, because when I've measured the point over there and over there where nothing's been done, they're both exactly the same. So it gives me an idea where the gun needs to be. So far the string is roughly in the right place. Okay, first panel done. So now basically what I'll do is I'll do the same with the other side, but we don't need to film that because he'll only know that he's got too much editing to do. The next phase, as you can see, this side has now been put on. Eventually we're going to come to the wiring. The wiring has arrived, so what we need to do is I now need to put some of this 20mm depth by 50mm, I think it is, in width. Oops. I think I've sat on a screw and it's gone right through. Anyway, oh God, that hurt. So, what I need to do is I need to put some wood fillets, as I shall call them, up here, like so. And the reason why these need to go up first is because obviously eventually we're going to have the panelling coming down and it'll give us something decent to pin to as well, because this is rickety. I'm not going to take it off. It might be useful just to bang some pins in, who knows. So I'm going to put this here, and then that will allow me then to screw a piece of wood that goes that way, which will act as the shelf for the cabling. So if in future things need to be altered or whatever, it can be unscrewed, it can be dropped down, and then hey ho, you've got your all your cabling that's necessary to be looked at or to be altered in some way, whatever. So that's the next job, is to put these up here. So what I'll do to start with is I'll drill a pilot hole in the centre of this, and I'll put the first screw in, so it'll give me, obviously John's not here, so it's ideally a two-man job, but if obviously he's not here, so I shall screw it into position there. I'll be able to move it sideways to get it nice and flush, because ideally I would like it to just fit flush with this old existing ply here. So then I can then bring the new ply over the top and use that, as I said before, to be able to pin into. So we shall just put a small pilot. Okay, so there we have it. So I can mess around with that now. So I can put my pilot holes in now. So just test, make sure it. You see on foot there's like a fiberglass lip that drops down. And I just want to make sure that it just goes. It's perfect. That's great. Great. That's fine. Okay. So that's basically what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this off. I'm going to put another one on this side and then obviously cut a piece that goes there, and on the other side I'm going to take these off. These are temporarily screwed on because I'm going to coat them and protect them just in case, for whatever reason, if there's a leak. I mean, obviously I'll know there's a leak, but if there's a leak that's ever so small, it's not going to rot this out before I can get to it. So I shall give this a treatment, as I will with all the wood. So that's what I'm going to do. So the next time you see it, this section will be done, and then we'll come back and then I'll show you what I'm going to use for the underneath, and I'll show you of course underneath, and then we're going to go on with the wiring, which is the scariest bit, because no matter how much I look on YouTube and try and study it, it seems to go in through there and out of there. So that is the thing that is bothering me the most, is knowing what to do with the wiring. So, but that's my problem and not yours. So I shall see you later. Hello, so welcome back. What we're going to be doing today is removing a fiberglass mould that basically takes the top hatch. Now I'm going to have to keep the top hatch, and I'm going to have to keep this because I've tried for numerous months to see if I can find anything that would fit it. It has to be watertight, and I don't think it's going to be possible. So I'm going to have to try and preserve it. So as I found that this is the boat, and this is the moulded piece of fiberglass. So I have bought a very expensive bit for this tool. That was £34 from B&Q, and I thought, oh my god, it better work. Anyway, fortunately for me it has, because the one that I was using, which was the toothed version, took me ages to go from literally only 2 or 3 inches, but this, within about 5 or 6 minutes, I'd managed to go the full length. So sometimes it pays to buy quality bits for your tools. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. Obviously this has been fiberglassed together in a sandwich form, and I'm going to, as you can see, I've already started. I've made an incision all the way down, separating this part and this part. And as you can see, I don't know whether you can hear it, but it is loose, so I'm obviously in the right place. And basically I've got to go all the way around to set this free. Once that's free, I can then remove it, sand it down and make it look good. And then, and what John will do, he will go down there and he will just take a shot from underneath so you can see how far this goes in the boat. And the reason for us having to do it now is because we have to remove the other 2 ceiling panels so that I can start insulating and working, as you know, from the front to the back. So John will go down there and take a shot from there, but I'll show you exactly what I do and how deep I go in order to get this loose. Bear with me. this definitely is a mask's job. It's all right for the producer. He can get all choked up because he's just a producer. But me, of course, being the star, I have to look after myself.
Get on with it.
So obviously when it goes down, you suddenly feel it go clunk, and that basically is the depth of how much fiberglass is holding this together. It's about that much. Fortunately for me, if it was any deeper, then of course I'd have to go that bit further, but we're all right. So I'm just going to take this to there, and then John's going to go down there and show you the balance. Okay, so now that John's down there, you can see quite clearly the shape of this particular piece, this moulded section. So from where you're looking, John will pan and show you what the ceiling looks like. It is all loose, and the only thing really that's holding this thing in place is these two outer sides here that tend to go further into the boat. This one is only a small lip, and I was able to get the centre section out from there, and you can see that these are quite loose. So this is an important piece that has to be taken out, and it has to be put back and restored. So that is what I'm up to at the moment, and I think it's going to take me quite a while to do it. So I shall leave the camera work to John, and I shall carry on cutting out. Right, so I've used that oscillator and I've now cut all the way around, and it is loose. So I've dropped into the boat myself, and I'm just going to prise this away. It should come away quite comfortably because there's nothing holding it. I think there was a screw. Oh, it's actually come away. So if we just pull that off nice and easy without damaging it. There we go.
It's like a picture frame.
It is like a picture frame, isn't it? But it's... if we had broken that, I think we would have been in all sorts of trouble. So there you go. You can see the original mastic that they used. I don't know what it was, but it feels like some sort of fiberglassy type product. And we've managed to salvage it. It's got a slight curve to it as well, so it was definitely worth keeping. Because like I say, I've trawled the internet to see if I can find anything that would fit this sort of aperture. Is that the right word?
The aperture is the hole it went in, yes.
Fine. So I've tried to find something that would fit, and I've not been able to at all. So it's something that we definitely need to keep. So with that out of the way, John and we now need to remove these two panels, and they are pinned in situ at the moment here and here. So what we'll do is we'll just freeze frame for a bit. We'll remove these because I'm going to have to use the oscillator just to trim them and pull them off. It might take us a while to do.
They're about 15-foot panels, those, aren't they?
No, they're about, I would say,
10?
3 metres, yeah, 9 foot 9, 10 foot, I would say. And I couldn't do it myself because if I started there, I think this is the weakest point here, and I think I could have maybe damaged them or whatever. Anyway, that's what we're going to do, is we're going to take the pins out and then take them down. That will then free us up to do the insulation, and we're going to obviously have to maybe put some holes in here for the headlight that's going to have to go up there, and also the horn that we have to put up there as well. So that's what we're going to do. So we'll get to it. Where else it's held? It's held there. Anyway, watch that. You want to be careful of that. Can't think of anywhere else it's held. It must be held there somewhere, but anyway. I'm going to try and pull this down without causing major...
Is it worth trying to go into there?
Well, that's the problem.
With the chisel?
Yeah, but the chisel's the wrong angle and it'll just split it. I tried to get that one and I ripped it
If
there.
I could hold this down, could you go through?
Well, yeah, possibly. I just want to see if I can...
That's freed one. Popping them off, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just coaxing it without...
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Not too far now. Which one's popped off? This?
Yeah.
Why don't you try and work it from that way round? From that side there. From the one that's popped off.
Well, you'd be better leaving that alone then. Yeah, I've got that one.
Yes, I know you did. Somebody made a great suggestion there.
Do you think you should... Isn't that music...
No, that's alright. It's not hip hop.
No, it's copyright music.
You can't hear it, so you're...
I don't know. I don't know.
My head's holding this end.
Yeah. Free. Free as a bird. Apart from, I think, maybe, I'm not so sure.
Where's that torch?
Might be somewhere there, but not so sure why it's... Might be able to get that in there. Oh.
That'll be down there.
Yeah, that'll be down.
Okay.
1972's worth of dust in there.
Crap.
Yeah.
Right, so squeeze it out or...
Yeah. Fantastic.
Just lay it down
What?
on the side here. Take it further to that end first.
Fantastic.
That needs a good clean up.
Yeah.
Those pins all have to be... So there's all the cables.
Yeah, those are all the original cables.
Okay. It's not as... this one isn't as free, is it?
No, because yeah. But there's no reason why that shouldn't pop off equally as good. Well, that's brilliant. Well, yeah. Have you managed to get yourself
I've had a
a
tetanus
statutory cut?
Rusty nail.
Where's the chisel gone?
Incredible, you really are.
Oh. Mirror. Oh, here it is. Got it. I'll put it there for safekeeping. I'll use your method around this hole.
Well, it works.
Got my chisel stuck. Can't. Just a hole in the bottom of the boat.
Down there.
What?
It's alright.
Are you sticking your fingers in things you shouldn't?
No. Things are sticking in my fingers. It shouldn't be.
Oh, I see.
Freed quite easily then.
Yeah.
This stuff's a lot more resilient than you think. It looks quite brittle, doesn't it?
Yeah. You're right.
Who knows? What's it, 50 years old? 71.
Is it 71? 70? Well, it doesn't. He's 71 or 72. Well, as I said, they said it's. Don't be doing things like getting carried away
Well,
with your yanking. That's
do it.
yanking.
careful. The chisel's there.
Yeah. I know. I'm going to use my fat hand.
Okay.
Whoa.
Okay.
Well,
Can I go now?
no, you can't. That's excellent.
Oh, that's channeled in there.
Yeah, that is as well. That's nice.
So he needs some of these
Well, they can
cable
stay on.
ties.
No, they can stay, can't they? I can use them. They're fiberglassed into the boat.
So we try not to twiddle them too much.
No, yeah, well, they'll snap off otherwise.
Oh, of course you would.
What?
Of course you do. You wouldn't cover them when they're up there.
Yeah, you would, normally. Because you've got to pin it up. You can't pin over the top of fabric, can you?
Don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
You've been stupid there on film.
Right. Well, I'm just going to switch it on.
You're going to switch it off, yeah. I'm going to edit that bit.
There you go.
Yeah, I think you should. Yeah. Right, next stage of this roof. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use the technical term of de-knobbling. And when I mean de-knobbling, I mean all these bits that have, obviously when this framework is up, it's all hidden. But because I want to insulate it, I want to make it a smooth as surface as possible. So I am going to de-knobble it with my trusty, well, I call it an oscillator, but I'm sure it's not called that, but that moves about, so I'm going to call it an oscillator. So I'm going to just literally go across and skim all these off, make it as smooth as possible, and then it will be ready for some insulation. So I shall get myself in my attire and look like I'm something I shouldn't be.
You look like a criminal.
Yeah, I know. Right. What's that there? That's a bolt. Right. So, let's get de-knobbling. Tell you what, that half gets in your eyes even with that on. Right, there's no need for you to see me just constantly taking off these burrs, so we will be back when it's done, and then we're on to the next stage of putting something on there. See you later. Okay, so welcome back. We're on a fresh project and it's all about the ceiling. And as you can see, there's quite a lot of work already taken place. So I'm just going to explain before I finish the balance of what I've done up to this stage. And basically, as you can naturally see, I've put the first layer of bubble on the ceiling. But you'll also see I have put two rungs of thin wood that I am going to, it's difficult to explain, but originally, if you've been watching my episodes, you would have known that this fiberglass mould and this fiberglass mould were separated. And eventually, when they do go back together, I need a flat surface for them to marry up. And I'm not sure just at this moment in time what we're going to do with the join, whether we fiberglass them together or I keep them separate and incorporate an LED system up there. I'm not quite sure. So I have put this up here anyway, and if it's a case of whether I need it or not, I can soon chisel it off. But there was quite a lot of work involved, as you will see. I've stuck them with adhesive, and obviously I've followed the contour all the way around. As I've gone down, it's obviously the pieces have got smaller, and I've followed the actual shape, because I know from memory that this moulded system finishes around here all the way around on a flat edge, and then of course this one finishes on a flat edge too. So if I was to use my nail gun, I would have something to shoot into. So that's the situation. And then going from there, I then have completely coated all this section with another layer of bubble wrap. I sprayed everything, and then I then stuck everything to it, and then I allowed it to dry, and then I used a sharp Stanley blade, and then I started to make an incision around these areas to then re-show the wood, because like I say, I still require to be able to see them, and down the centre too, as you can see, because I need these flat surfaces, because there are joins that have to be pretty flat. So I shall now get on with doing the first section, which will be from here to here, and I will spray it and then stick it up. So let's get on with that. So it's a general coating. Okay, final piece. Is that, might start at this end. Same as before, same procedure. Stick up to the joint first. And then follow the contours. It's actually quite therapeutic, this, you know. I quite like doing it.
Starting to feel warmer in here already.
Of course, because it's been exceptionally cold today.
It's also because he's seeing a big change very quickly with it, rather than just doing preparation.
Yeah. I think we shall use a new blade for such an event.
On a momentous occasion.
You big words. These bits here, they can just tuck in, because obviously none of that's going to be seen. that to do now. And there we have it. Right, that's it. So I'll leave that for now. I think I'm going to call that a wrap actually. So thank you very much for watching. Hope you've liked the episode and I hope it's been informative. Please like and subscribe if you would, and I will see you next time. Thank you and bye for now.